Imagine a tall, awkward lawyer from a small Kentucky town who rises to lead a country torn apart by civil war. Imagine brilliant speeches, quiet grief, and sudden, brutal death in a crowded theater. Stay until the end. The final twist will force you to rethink everything you thought you knew about Abraham Lincoln. Opening scene: a single candle, a stovepipe hat, a voice reading the first lines of the Gettysburg Address. Cut to archival images, portraits, and battlefield smoke. Narration begins. Early life and rise. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin in 1809. He worked the frontier, educated himself by lamplight, and became a self-taught lawyer known for logic, plain speech, and a quick wit. He lost 2 children in infancy and later buried a beloved son, Willie, in the White House, a grief that haunted his presidency. Before he became the 16th president, he served in the Illinois legislature and a single term in Congress, failing many elections along the way. Those failures shaped him, resilient, reflective, and politically patient. Key facts and achievements. He guided the Union through the Civil War, preserving the United States when many believed it might permanently split. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, declaring enslaved people in rebel states to be free, a military and moral gambit that reframed the war. He delivered the Gettysburg Address, a 271-word speech that reshaped American national purpose with a spare, almost biblical cadence. He championed the Homestead Act, a transcontinental railroad, and the creation of a national banking system, policies that modernized the nation. He was the first president to be assassinated, dying April 15, 1865, after John Wilkes Booth shot him at Ford's Theater. Dark stories and shadows. Lincoln's life and presidency carried darker threads that rarely make the tidy textbook page. Crushing depression and inner demons. Many contemporaries and later historians record Lincoln's episodes of melancholy. He suffered deep grief after the deaths in his family and periods of despair that friends feared might lead to suicide. He wrote poetry that sometimes reads like a man wrestling with mortality. Whether you call it clinical depression or the heavy burden of leadership, it shaped the temperament of his decisions. Suspension of civil liberties. To fight secession and keep the Union together, Lincoln authorized extraordinary measures. He suspended the writ of habeas corpus in certain areas, allowing military arrest without immediate trial. He oversaw arrests of journalists and political opponents. He ordered military tribunals for civilians in some cases. These actions saved spies and saboteurs from acting freely, but they also set a precedent for executive power that critics call dangerous. The question remains, when, if ever, does survival justify the suspension of civil rights? The assassination plot and security failures. John Wilkes Booth was a popular actor and vehement Confederate sympathizer. The plot to kidnap Lincoln morphed into assassination in the chaotic days following Confederate surrender. Yet the president's security was thin that night. He attended the theater with minimal guards, and the theater door was unlocked. After the shot, Lincoln lay dying while the nation's security apparatus scrambled. The lone assassin's success revealed both the vulnerability of the man and the fragility of the system. Scrawled threats and constant danger. Lincoln received countless death threats. His mail was full of menacing notes. Some historians speculate that a determined group could have found other chances before Ford's Theater. The idea that a single bullet from one man could change history feels almost absurd. Yet it happened. Family tragedy and Mary Todd Lincoln's unraveling. Mary Todd Lincoln struggled with mental health after Willie's death and endured public ridicule. Her grief and volatile behavior led to a posthumous hearing that briefly declared her insane. The first family's private pain contrasted sharply with the public adulation for Lincoln, revealing a presidency shadowed by personal suffering. Attempts to steal the body and macabre aftermath. Years after Lincoln's burial, his tomb became the target of criminals. In 1876, a gang attempted to steal his corpse to ransom it for money. Authorities discovered the plot and moved his remains multiple times to prevent theft. A national hero's body was treated like loot, a grim postscript showing how even death could be politicized and profaned. Moral complexities and controversies. Lincoln was neither saint nor villain. He opposed slavery morally and politically, yet his approach was cautious and tactical. The Emancipation Proclamation freed enslaved people in rebelling states. Not everywhere, because Lincoln used his war powers rather than a sweeping moral decree. He famously said he would save the Union even if it meant not freeing all enslaved people immediately. That political realism forced his hand toward gradualism and compromise. It also angered radicals who wanted immediate abolition and disappointed abolitionists who wanted full equality. Lincoln's rhetoric about race sometimes reflected the prejudices of his era. He spoke of African Americans with a complexity that can be read as both empathetic and limited. His policies helped overturn slavery, but full citizenship and equal rights remained unfinished work after his death. Denouement and final twist. Here is the twist that should keep you thinking long after the credits roll. The most haunting thing about Lincoln is not merely that he was murdered or that he suffered privately. The real shadow he left is institutional. In saving the Union, Lincoln expanded presidential power in ways that future leaders, both noble and dangerous, could exploit. The man who stood for liberty also normalized extraordinary executive measures, military trials, censorship, suspension of habeas corpus. Those precedents made it possible for later presidents to claim emergency powers in moments of crisis. So ask yourself this: did Lincoln save American democracy by bending rules to preserve the nation? Or did he plant a seed that would let future leaders bend democracy itself? The answer is uncomfortable because it forces us to choose between two goods that may conflict: survival of the state and protection of individual rights. Final image: Lincoln's silhouette in a stovepipe hat dissolves into a modern silhouette of the presidency. The echo of the Gettysburg Address plays as the screen fades to black. If you stayed until the end, decide for yourself whether history should judge the man or the precedent. His life saved a nation and left a dangerous tool in the hands of the future. Which legacy matters more to you? If you want, I can time mark this script to exact seconds for an 8-minute read, add camera directions, or adapt it into a voiceover file. Which would you like next? Thank you for watching. If you want more stories like this, give it a like. Good luck.